Good morning, good morning, good morning, dear ones. My precious dear ones, you guys are so great. I have to admit, I was lazy. I didn't get to any videos this weekend. So I only have a half hour, but this week is a week where I'm going to have the opportunity to catch up. So thanks again for watching the videos. I know that I think Chris is caught up. If he's not caught up, he's only, one behind or so. So we'll see. I forgot to ask him. It's been pretty busy around here, so we really thank you for being patient. Remember always, if you feel like you have a serious problem, you call right in. You don't wait till I try to get back with you here. If you have a serious question, try to keep them to serious questions. But if you have a serious question or you've got a symptom you want to know about, you call in and ask them about that symptom, okay? Because healing crisis is real. This was, and this is stuff we get in over the weekend, but this comment was by Click Switch. And is death also a healing crisis? Now, these are my kind of questions. Well, I look at it as a healing crisis. Good, I got rid of that. You know, getting rid of the physical body is probably like dumping a major 20-pound load. But for my sake, it's probably almost 200-pound load. Oh, no, definitely a healing crisis, getting rid of the physical body. It can be for some. You know, it can be for some. Although we've never seen anybody die from a healing crisis. Daggone it. No. But appreciate the question, Click Switch. My kind of question, though. This is one that was asked a while back, and there was so much to these when they're real long. I apologize, but I try to get to the quicker questions. This question is a spiritual question and deals with the chakras and the endocrine gland system. And this, let me see, it's her, Andrea was saying that, there's a lot of ideas and opinions about the chakras and the colors of the different realms and things like this, Myself and I have always considered the violet hue as the id or the ego, the self manifesting from the all down to the individualized self. Always considered the id area, the violet area, the causal, which is the mathematics of the universe, of course. That's the duality really is perceived at that level. That's where you perceive the past and the future. So you see duality in its face pretty strong there for the first time, even though when you come down into materiality whatsoever, even the separation of consciousness into an individualized consciousness, or loosely called a soul, then we are moving into duality, but so very fine. This is the illusion of cosmic consciousness, or as you asked, Andrea, Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is another word for cosmic consciousness, in my opinion. In all the years I've talked to master after master and read the works of the world, I can tell you that Christ consciousness was really cosmic consciousness, which is basically a consciousness of oneness of all things, where you perceive yourself as being one with all things. This is the mind. The mind is the blue level of the universe, so to speak. The Hopi Indians, of course, see the master as the blue light or the blue star. So as the Ekmasters come as the blue light or the blue star. That's why the Hopi elders gave Darwin Gross, the living Ekmaster, when I was in Eckankar, gave him a bunch of property in Sedona, and we were going to have a really nice place out there. A lot of masters, a lot of beings, all the ley lines, of course, come together there in Sedona. I just love the frequency of Sedona, of course. Can't imagine one not. But outside of that, I don't get into it too much, because in reality, the problem with knowledge is that it's individual, and it's the same thing in health. And the same thing as we talk about through this, and you've watched this whole journey with biochemistry thinkers, and you've seen just on this YouTube channel alone the different states coming in and giving their opinions and stuff like this. You haven't seen it to the degree that it can be, though. And The problem is that's ridiculous. I don't waste my time anymore in the intellectual realms much. It doesn't matter to me. I let all that go, and I don't want any part of it. I don't even let myself go there because it isn't worth it. You've got to enjoy the essence of life itself and not get over wrapped up in health. It's a great time to have a focus and really tear it apart. But that's not why you're here. That should be a natural aspect of being here. It's just eating the food that grows normally for your species. We wouldn't be consumed with so much thought about health. We wouldn't be in so much pain and discomfort that is a big focus for the human species when it's just an accepted aspect of life on the planet in most of nature. One doesn't go around thinking about health. One going around thinking about shelter and food. At this level, we should have that down to a science, but no, more's better always. So then the yields and the crops and the fertilizers and the pesticides and that whole crap thinking came in, and we've literally destroyed everything because more's better and we can just go, the humans can do it better. And people buy these $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes, and that's just the young people. I mean, it's just insane, So you're seeing a balancing factor going on. We call it, a kind of a recession or depression. I call it a balancing of what is for fantasy and just consuming, like the Black Fridays where people went in and literally tore up the place to get something cheap, pepper sprays, and I mean, that's all insanity thinking, people in greed and out of balance for material things, for electronics and material things. But the chakras, I wouldn't worry about it because you ask about raising the Kundalini. The Kundalini is the life force, and life force isn't stuck at one chakra. You're the guiding light. If anything, if you're going to work with chakras, you start at the crown chakra and have out-of-body travels and stuff. Why mess with the lower chakras? I mean, I think it's a lot of attention for nothing when you are the living reality. Your chakras are just energy centers. Okay. Keep your consciousness. Learn what consciousness is. Keep the body healthy. Keep your your thoughts controlled and observed, and your emotions in check, and you experience the allness of things. And that's really what it's about, in my opinion. You can get trapped in spirituality like you do in health. Everything has to be raw, everything has to be pure, everything has to be this and organic, and you can't do this and can't do that. Same thing in spirituality, and it's like, well, okay. But in reality, health is something that should be an aspect of living here. And unfortunately, we have to spend time getting the human species back to an acceptance of the proper foods and the anatomy of their bodies. And then go ahead, get your bodies regenerate, go down that line. But make God and experience in life your number one priority. So I don't get too involved in the chakras, to be honest with you. Not worth it. Why play in the lower worlds when you have all the higher worlds to enjoy? Why limit yourself? So I don't get too much into that sort of thing, honey. So I really don't know what to tell you about that. There's so much about that. Yes, everything moves with light and sound. All of that's wrapped up into the molecular aspect of things, the movement of things, the music, the colors, the shapes. Everything is all wrapped into one. You can't have one without the other, to be honest with you. So yes, everything has frequencies and music to it, absolutely. Tones, the music of the spheres, the gorgeous melodies of the heavens, if you're listening inwardly instead of listening outwardly. Yes, there's so much out there. It's amazing, we just get overconsumed with one thing or another. So dig in and tear into health like crazy, but don't be controlled by it. Step back and be conscious. So and don't get too wrapped up in the chakras, play that game. I've had a lot of people go bananas by raising the Kundalini too fast, bringing it up from the lower chakra and playing that game of Kundalini moving. Be the Kundalini. Don't play with it, be it. And the only way to be it is the fact that you already are it, or something even far greater. You're just channeling a consciousness. All right, I wanted to kind of go on here. I don't want to get too caught up in that. Sorry it took me so long, sweetheart. I'd really get back with you, but hope I helped you in how I perceive things. No, I've never heard of this Max IGAN. I confirm that I get nightmares if I eat cheese before going to bed. Oh, well, honey, composer, or is that a male? I never know. Must be a male. I don't know. You know what? It's interesting, isn't it? Well, it's just what I'm saying. If I walk into a restaurant and the chef's having a bad day, I don't care if I eat a salad, I'm going to feel it. I feel a restaurant's food. If I go in, I can tell you how the kitchen is, right there, because you get so sensitive to frequencies and energetics, you know. And so it's like, no, tell the chef to go back and meditate for a few minutes before they cook the food, and don't spit in it. Oh man, Tamara is such a beautiful mom. Don't you think she is? She's a beautiful woman. I think she is, and she's worked. Oh man, the work she's done with her kids, and the same thing with C-Stall, though. Even though we've had our differences there, C-Stall's done well too. A lot of people, a lot of moms have done well with their children, and I'm really proud of them. Facing the horrendous government that we've created that's out of control. And I have to blame the people for that too. We get some of these mums go nuts and things. So yeah, now we're really, if you look at all the laws and regulations, a lot of them are just byproducts of people. Something happens and then they want to pass a law so that that'll never happen again. So the problem with passing laws is that the more laws that you pass in a society, the more negative the society is. Take a look at America. We're so constipated with rules and regulation and laws that it's illegal to almost do anything. And that's an eye-opener. And I think we have to step back and realize the essence of freedom in the Constitution, at least in this country, because it's a God thing, you know. The God thing that it's your right to enjoy life on this planet as long as you don't hurt anybody else. If we all lived by that rule, that would be pretty cool. You know, let everybody do their thing as long as you don't hurt anybody else. And that's basically what the Constitution permits, you know. And I say permit, it's like here we are, children of God enjoying the creation, and then we've created so many rules and regulations to constipate us and to take that joy and freedom away. And some man hasn't woken up to that, you know. So these mothers in the face of states to take away the kids. I mean, I love when this pimple pops. I mean, because when reality sets in and we realize the extreme nature of the allopathic community, and that focus has been responsible for most of the suffering of man, actually, it's going to be an eye-opener to man on this planet. And to those engaged, because I feel sorry in people in the field. There's a lot of good medical doctors out there that just have no clue. Their egos get artificially built up. They just have no clue that they're digging in the fields of bad dreams. That because of the antibiotic use, because of chemotherapy. Now, as we've talked about before, chemo is used for anything. Man, not if a few medical doctors would visit the jail time for a while and sit and meditate and enjoy their spirituality for a while. I think it'd be real helpful, and it wouldn't be a negative thing. And then maybe we would learn that there's some things you just can't do, even in the medical field, even though they're not bound by any law, I don't think. The terrible journey gone through with her, oh man, her journey through that little baby, I mean, you guys don't have a clue. It is such a long journey. If you sit there and listen, you'd be crying like crazy. She was explaining some of it in school last year, and man, the whole room was crying. And then another story. I mean, I didn't stop crying for the first half of the day because all these cases, it's sad cases, but her case of Trevor and what the medical doctors did to him is just